So if you really want to really try and prevent these challenges later in life, address the growing rate of poor mental health, thrive as individuals.
Catherine just walked out of the Windsor vaults with Queen Elizabeth's most private inheritance. A secret codicil in the late monarch's will has bypassed the standard royal succession rules completely. Senior courtiers are in total shock over the raw institutional power this single item carries. Queen Camilla tried to block the transfer, but the legal paperwork is already final. The true heart of the monarchy has just been handed to the future queen. The Windsor Vault. The heavy steel door of the underground vault beneath the Albert Memorial Chapel swung open at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. The keeper of the jewel house stepped inside the climate-controlled room. He was followed by 2 security officers from the Metropolitan Police Royalty Protection Command. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, walked in behind them, carrying a dark blue leather folder. The room contains the private personal property of the late Queen Elizabeth II. This space is entirely separate from the main state vault that holds the crown jewels. The keeper walked to a steel cabinet in the corner of the room. He used a biometric key card to open the lower drawer. He pulled out a small mahogany box with a tarnished brass latch. 24 hours earlier, Queen Camilla had sent her personal secretary to this exact vault to request the inventory logs for the late Queen's private estate. The keeper of the jewel house denied the request at the gate. He cited a strict security directive that limits access to these specific logs to the reigning monarch and the designated personal beneficiaries. The legal facts surrounding this transfer are clear. The late Queen left a private will that was sealed by a High Court judge shortly after her passing in 2022. Under British probate law, the personal wills of senior royals remain confidential to protect the privacy of the estate. But a specific codicil, signed by the late monarch on August 14, 2022, was recently processed by the family's estate lawyers. The codicil bypassed the standard royal succession pathway. Usually, personal heirlooms owned by a reigning queen pass directly to the next monarch's spouse to maintain the continuity of the queen consort's collection. Elizabeth II deliberately broke that pattern. She directed that this specific mahogany box be handed directly to Catherine upon her return to full-time administrative duties. The contents of the box stunned the senior courtiers who handle palace logistics. Inside the velvet lining rests Queen Elizabeth's private personal diary collection from the final 10 years of her reign. Placed directly on top of the leather-bound books is her personal gold coronation signet ring. This is the exact ring she wore during her private anointing ceremony at Westminster Abbey in 1953. The possession of these items grants Catherine massive institutional weight. The diaries contain the late monarch's unedited, handwritten assessments of every major political and family crisis from 2012 onward. The gold signet ring is a historic symbol of sovereign legitimacy that has never belonged to a non-blood royal in modern history. It is the absolute heart of Elizabeth's private legacy. The immediate tension inside the palace started when the box left the vault room. Catherine signed the official receipt ledger at 10:30. She placed the mahogany box inside her leather folder and walked back up the stone stairs to the courtyard. A black royal sedan was waiting to transport her back to Adelaide Cottage. The news of the handover reached Buckingham Palace within 30 minutes. Queen Camilla's office immediately called an emergency meeting with the estate trustees. Her advisors argued that the gold coronation ring belonged to the state collection and should be displayed publicly in the jewel house at the Tower of London. They claimed that keeping such a significant historical artifact in a private household registry was a breach of traditional palace conservation rules. The estate trustees reviewed the statutory facts of the case. They confirmed that the coronation signet ring was purchased privately by King George VI from a London goldsmith in 1937. Because it was bought with private funds, it remains classified as personal property, not a state heirloom. The late Queen possessed the absolute legal right to leave it to anyone she chose. This legal reality leaves a massive mystery hanging over the palace network. The late Queen did not just leave the box to Catherine as a token of personal affection. The private papers attached to the codicil contain a specific multi-page instruction leaflet written in the Queen's own hand. Why did Elizabeth II feel the need to hide these specific diaries and the coronation ring from the standard state archives? What hidden condition did she attach to the use of these items that has senior palace advisors scrambling to check the legal boundaries? The answer involves a confidential memorandum that was delivered to the king's desk at Clarence House later that afternoon. The Red Box Memo. The king's private secretary dropped a red leather dispatch box onto the large desk at Clarence House at exactly 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. King Charles looked up from his medical charts. The secretary pulled a single document from the top of the box. The paper was held together by a green silk ribbon, meaning it came directly from the family's private estate lawyers in London. The document was an official legal briefing regarding the Windsor Vault transfer. It contained the exact transcript of the handwritten codicil. Briefing paper confirmed that Queen Camilla's personal secretary had tried to access the vault log on Monday morning. The keeper of the jewel house blocked her because the late Queen's instructions were absolute. The records were sealed to everyone except the designated recipient, Catherine. The text of the briefing revealed the hidden condition that Queen Elizabeth attached to the heirloom. The late monarch wrote that the diaries and the coronation signet ring must never be entered into the Royal Collection Trust inventory. They must remain private personal property. If a future administration tries to catalog the items for public display, ownership automatically transfers to Catherine's eldest child, Prince George. This condition created an immediate wave of administrative tension. The Royal Collection Trust manages thousands of historic artifacts for the nation. The directors of the trust prefer everything to be centralized under their management to avoid public criticism over hidden royal wealth. Bypassing the trust means the diaries will never be subject to the Public Records Act. They will stay entirely outside the reach of historians and investigative journalists. The legal reality is grounded in solid property facts. The Public Records Act of 1958 requires government departments to release historic documents after 20 years. But the private correspondence of the sovereign is entirely exempt from this law. By keeping the diaries in a private personal trust, Elizabeth II ensured that her personal thoughts on the modern family fractures remain legally protected from public exposure forever. This setup creates a massive problem for the palace public relations team. The directors of the trust called the private secretary on a secure line at 4 o'clock. They argued that keeping the coronation signet ring in a private house creates a serious long-term security risk. They wanted the piece moved to a high-security safe at St. James's Palace. They claimed that the insurance costs alone would drain the local Windsor estate budget. The king rejected the trust's complaint. He stuck strictly to the probate facts. The codicil was signed, witnessed, and processed through the High Court. The legal title of the mahogany box now belongs exclusively to Catherine. The king noted that his mother's intent was clear, and he would not authorize any bureaucratic maneuver to override her final wishes. With the trust's objections dismissed, the true scope of the inheritance began to sink in among senior staff. The diaries do not just contain routine schedules or weather logs. They cover the exact period when the family faced its most intense public scandals, including the exit of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in 2020. This private ownership introduces a brand new dynamic to the family's legal battles. Catherine now holds the ultimate factual record of those internal disputes. She does not need to rely on palace briefings or media leaks to know the truth of what happened behind closed doors during the Sandringham summit. She has the late Queen's personal day-by-day account locked in her private safe. The administrative processing concluded at 5 o'clock. The private secretary locked the file inside the king's personal registry cabinet. But the tension was already moving toward the international legal teams who manage the wider family assets. A new mystery emerged during the final hour of the working day. The Palace Legal Counsel noticed a specific clause attached to the bottom of page 6 of the briefing paper. The clause referenced a separate private asset trust, funded by the late Queen through a bank in Jersey. Why did the late Queen link her personal diaries to a private offshore asset trust? What specific financial restriction is the palace preparing to enforce against other family members using the power of this new legal alignment? The answer involves a formal query that was submitted to a London probate court by an outside legal firm just 90 minutes after the box left the vault. The 3 o'clock meeting. The chairman of the palace trustees arrived at Clarence House at exactly 3 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. He unzipped a black leather portfolio and took out a 5-page copy of the Jersey Asset Trust deed. King Charles sat across from him at the conference table. The king's private attorney stood by the window, holding a red pen. The trustee opened the document to page 4 and placed his finger on a specific clause. The text of the Jersey Trust deed confirmed that Queen Elizabeth's private cash reserves were tied directly to the physical possession of her personal diaries. Because the diaries were legally handed to Catherine, the Associated Financial Trust activated exclusively under her name. The wording of the trust completely blocks Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from launching any future legal challenges against the private estate. Under the terms of the deed, any family member who files a lawsuit to contest the distribution of personal property is automatically disqualified from receiving any future payouts from the Jersey funds. The late Queen created an absolute financial shield around her choices. The revelation of this clause caused immediate tension inside the meeting room. The trustee pointed out that the Duke of Sussex's lawyers had already submitted an initial request for information to the London Probate Registry. He argued that leaving the funds completely under Catherine's control would look like a deliberate act of exclusion to the public. He suggested dividing the interest from the trust evenly among all the grandchildren to avoid a public relations battle. The king's attorney rejected the suggestion using basic estate facts. The trust was established under Jersey law in 1998. It operates entirely independently of the UK probate system. The monarch has zero authority to rewrite the distribution criteria set by the original grantor. The late Queen chose to link the money to the diaries for a specific reason. She wanted the financial resources to go to the person carrying the heaviest administrative burden for the firm. This financial reality changes the landscape for the Kensington Palace household. The Jersey Trust generates an annual interest income of £400,000. This money does not come from the taxpayer-funded sovereign grant. It is private, non-taxable income that Catherine can use entirely at her own discretion to fund her private staff, security upgrades, or personal charitable projects. The trustee noted the decision in his folder and closed the portfolio. He realized that the legal wall was completely solid. The palace trustees could not force a redistribution of the assets without violating the explicit terms of the trust deed and risking a major legal penalty. While the meeting at Clarence House concluded, the focus shifted to the Central Administrative Registry in London. The legal team had to file the change of asset ownership before the close of the business day. This is where the tension moves from private offices to the digital server network. A new mystery emerged during this formal registration process. At 4:30, the IT security team at the London Registry noticed a sudden surge in digital search traffic, targeting the specific probate case file number assigned to the late Queen's sealed will. The attempts did not come from standard public terminals. The security log showed that a user was employing an advanced masking program to bypass the registry's digital firewall. They wanted to download the full, unredacted appendix of the Jersey Trust deed. The data was protected by a 20-character encryption key, held exclusively by the king's personal attorney. Why is someone using sophisticated masking software to dig into the confidential appendix of a private royal trust? What specific asset or name are they trying to locate inside the sealed financial records of the late monarch? The answer involves an unusual security alert that was triggered on the Kensington Palace home server network just hours after the mahogany box arrived at Adelaide Cottage. The London Registry. The chief IT security officer sat at his console in the basement network room of the principal probate registry in London. The time was exactly 11 o'clock on Thursday night. A bright red warning box flashed on his primary monitor screen. The system recorded a massive data query trying to download a restricted file from the 2022 Sovereign Estate Archive. The file was labeled Appendix 3 of the Jersey Asset Trust Deed. The automated data system confirmed that the mahogany box contained Queen Elizabeth's private diary collection and her gold coronation signet ring. The electronic registration of these items as private property had completed just 6 hours prior to the hack attempt. The digital warning triggered immediate physical tension across 2 palace households. The security officer called the Metropolitan Police Royalty Protection Hub on a secure line. Within 10 minutes, 2 cyber defense engineers from the Ministry of Defense arrived at the registry to track the source of the data breach. They discovered that the attacker was using a commercial proxy server to scramble the origin point of the traffic. Let us look at the hard technological facts of the incident. The palace uses a closed-circuit network called the Sovereign Ledger to manage private royal assets. This ledger does not connect to the standard public internet, but the probate registry must keep a backup copy of the estate title on a local government server to comply with the National Heritage Act of 1982. This backup server was the specific target of the data query. The cyber engineers deployed a tracer program to match the electronic signature of the masking software. The data showed that the hacker had obtained an active security token from a computer workstation inside the House of Lords. A junior legislative assistant had left his terminal logged into the government network after his shift ended at 8 o'clock. This security failure allowed the attacker to bypass the first 2 layers of the registry's firewall. They managed to copy the full inventory list of the mahogany box before the security team cut the power to the main database server. The file transfer was terminated with only 40% of the metadata downloaded. The security log showed that the tracer program followed the connection trail back to an external network. The attacker was not trying to break into Catherine's home computer at Adelaide Cottage. They were trying to intercept the encryption key that links the coronation signet ring to the Jersey cash reserves. The financial data inside the registry file confirms the high stakes of this digital hunt. The gold signet ring carries an estimated insurance value of £250,000 due to its historical origin, but its real value lies in its legal status as a physical key to the Jersey Asset Fund. Under the statutes of the 1998 trust deed, whoever holds legal title to the ring holds sole signing authority over the distribution of the interest payments. The palace press office refused to release any statement about the midnight incident. They stuck strictly to their standard security guidelines. Behind closed doors, the king's private attorney ordered the physical documents to be moved from the Windsor safe to a secure military vault at Northolt. The digital files were wiped completely from the local government backup servers to prevent a second attack. But the tracking data left behind by the cyber team opened a brand new mystery that is currently dividing the family's security advisors. The tracer program managed to capture the final 3 nodes of the connection path used by the masking software. The nodes did not route through a political office in Westminster or a commercial server park in London. The final electronic handshake took place on an encrypted commercial line that terminates at a private legal firm located on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. This specific firm specializes in international estate disputes for high-profile clients living in Southern California. Why is a celebrity estate lawyer in Los Angeles utilizing a compromised House of Lords terminal to steal the inventory of Queen Elizabeth's private mahogany box? What specific legal maneuver is the California team planning to launch once they analyze the downloaded metadata? The answer involves an official letter of query that was drafted at the Los Angeles office just 90 minutes after the network connection went dark. The California query. A senior partner at the Wilshire Boulevard law firm picked up his office telephone at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. He placed a long-distance call to a secure line at the British Embassy in Washington. He spent 10 minutes reading from a formal letter of discovery his team had drafted the previous night. The lawyer was representing the Duke of Sussex. He wanted the embassy to verify the legal status of the transfer at Windsor. The embassy's legal attaché delivered a direct, factual answer. The late Queen's trust deed contains an absolute forfeiture clause. Clause states that any blood descendant who takes legal action against a designated beneficiary automatically loses their current financial allowance from the Duchy of Lancaster estate. The California legal team was not trying to launch a standard lawsuit. They used the proxy network to see if the gold coronation signet ring was listed as a separate, transferable asset or a fixed part of the trust. The confirmation of the forfeiture clause caused immediate tension inside the Sussex household. The legal team in Los Angeles explained the math to their client during an emergency video conference. Prince Harry currently receives an annual allocation from the private family funds to cover his remaining security costs in the United States. If his lawyers filed a formal claim against Catherine's new inheritance, that security budget would drop to zero instantly. The lawyers stuck strictly to the probate facts. Under the UK Judicial Trustees Act of 1896, a private family trust cannot be altered by a foreign court. The late Queen structured the Jersey Fund so that it sits entirely outside the jurisdiction of both the British Parliament and the American legal system. The money is legally bound to the physical possession of the diaries, and Catherine holds the absolute title. This legal setup leaves the Sussex brand completely isolated. They cannot fight the inheritance without risking total financial ruin. The Los Angeles lawyers advised their client to drop the discovery query immediately to protect his remaining private income. The corporate strategy had run into a solid brick wall of constitutional law. Back in London, the physical confirmation of Catherine's ownership played out at Adelaide Cottage. A security van from the Royal Logistics Corps arrived at the side gate at 11 o'clock on Friday morning. 2 officers delivered a new biometric safe to the property. The safe was installed in Catherine's private office on the ground floor. The technician programmed the lock to accept only 2 specific thumbprint profiles. One belongs to Catherine, and the other belongs to the King's private attorney. The mahogany box containing the late Queen's diaries and the coronation signet ring was placed inside the steel chamber by midday. The financial records for the installation were billed directly to the private Privy Purse account. This transaction keeps the security costs entirely outside the public domain, preventing any leaks to the British media. It proved that the palace was prepared to spend whatever was necessary to defend the physical security of the heirlooms. While the technicians concluded their work at Windsor, a separate problem emerged at the BBC newsroom in London. A senior producer received an anonymous tip via an encrypted messaging app. The tipster claimed that a prominent member of the royal family was preparing to display a highly controversial piece of jewelry during the upcoming weekend church service. The text of the message did not name the specific royal. It included a low-resolution photograph of the gold coronation signet ring taken inside the Windsor vault before the transfer. The producer immediately called the palace press office to ask for verification. This brings us directly to the next unfolding mystery in the inheritance saga. The anonymous message did not originate from California or London. The digital tracking data showed that the photo was uploaded from a mobile device using a localized cellular tower near the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. Who is trying to leak photos of the coronation ring from inside the family's private network? What specific reaction are they trying to trigger before the family gathers for the traditional Sunday service? The answer involves a private travel log that records an unexpected vehicle movement at the Balmoral gates just hours after the Wilshire Boulevard phone call concluded. The Sunday service. A black royal sedan pulled up to the stone pathway outside St. Mary Magdalene Church at exactly 10:55 on Sunday morning. The location was the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. A crowd of 300 spectators stood behind the metal barrier lines. Prince William stepped out of the right side of the vehicle. He turned and opened the door for Catherine, who walked toward the church entrance. The princess wore a tailored navy coat. As she lifted her left hand to adjust her lapel, the sunlight hit her index finger. She was wearing Queen Elizabeth's gold coronation signet ring. The public display of the heirloom provided an immediate answer to the BBC newsroom leak from the previous Friday. The appearance of the ring caused instant personal friction at the church gates. Queen Camilla arrived in a separate vehicle just 2 minutes later. She stepped out of her car and walked toward the entrance porch. She caught sight of the gold ring on Catherine's hand as the princess greeted the local rector. This physical interaction triggered the exact reaction noted in our 6th milestone. Camilla stopped walking for 3 seconds. She did not approach the greeting line. She turned her face away from the waiting press photographers and walked straight through the side door into the nave. Her personal protection officers quickly moved to block the view of the lenses. The Queen Consort chose to disrupt the traditional family arrival photo to avoid being captured next to the sovereign heirloom. Let us look at the official facts of the church protocol. The seating arrangement inside St. Mary Magdalene is determined by the master of the household. Under the standard rules, the Queen Consort sits in the front pew, directly adjacent to the chancel aisle. The Prince and Princess of Wales occupy the second row, behind the main sovereign seats. This seating grid remained unchanged during the service. The tension remained high inside the church walls during the 1-hour service. The local rector delivered his sermon without referencing the family's presence. But the physical distance between the two royal women was obvious to the attending congregation. They did not exchange glances during the passing of the peace. They kept their eyes fixed on the altar. The service concluded at 12 o'clock sharp. Catherine left the church first, walking alongside Prince William. She held her hand low against her coat to prevent further close-up shots from the media pool. She knew the images from the arrival line were already moving across the global digital networks. The media reaction was immediate. By 1 o'clock that afternoon, 3 major British news websites published high-resolution zoom photographs of the coronation's signet ring. The articles noted that the piece had not been seen in public since 1953. The royal commentators identified the item as personal property from the late Queen's private estate box. The publication of the photos forced a sudden meeting at the Sandringham Registry Office. Camilla's personal press secretary met with the King's private secretary at 2 o'clock. He pointed out that the public display of the ring was triggering thousands of comments online about the internal family hierarchy. He argued that the princess should return the ring to the Windsor safe to protect the public image of the current reign. The King's secretary stuck strictly to the legal facts of ownership. He reminded the press team that Catherine holds the official title to the mahogany box. She has the absolute right to wear her personal jewelry whenever she chooses. The palace press office would not issue any directive to restrict the use of a legally private heirloom. The administrative meeting ended without an agreement. The press secretary left the registry office to call his media monitoring team in London. He realized that the public narrative was now completely outside his control. The image of the gold coronation ring had already established a powerful visual symbol of the next reign. But as the photographers packed their equipment at the church gates, a new mystery emerged regarding the security logs at the Sandringham perimeter fence. A guard patrolling the north gate found a discarded car rental agreement in a ditch. The paper was dated Saturday afternoon. The rental document showed that a vehicle had been picked up from Heathrow Airport by an individual using a Canadian passport. The name on the application matched a private investigator who previously worked for international tabloid firms during the royal weddings. Why is a Canadian private investigator tracking the family's movements at Sandringham? What specific information are they trying to collect on the estate grounds following the public appearance of the coronation ring? The answer involves a confidential legal codicil that is currently being reviewed by the High Court judges in London. The final codicil. A High Court judge sat at a wooden desk in the Royal Courts of Justice on Monday morning. He unsealed a small white envelope marked with the late Queen's personal registry number. He picked up a magnifying glass to verify the signature on the second page. The document inside was the final legal appendix to the sealed sovereign will. The text confirmed that Queen Elizabeth had expected the internal household friction. She explicitly wrote that the public appearance of her gold coronation signet ring would act as a definitive declaration of the future line of command. The judge stamped the appendix as legally binding at 10:45. This final certification locks in Catherine's institutional weight forever. Under the precise terms of the document, the private diaries and the coronation ring cannot be reassigned by any future king. The ownership is tied directly to Catherine's personal legal entity. This prevents the current palace administration from launching any bureaucratic maneuver to retrieve the items. The reality of this legal permanence caused immediate changes inside the palace press office. Camilla's personal press secretary called off the planned media briefing on Monday afternoon. He instructed his staff to remove all internal memos regarding the Sandringham church photos from the active system network. The corporate strategy switched from open resistance to silent containment. let us look at the hard institutional facts of this consolidation. The British monarchy relies heavily on symbolic continuity to maintain its public support. By holding the late Queen's private records and her coronation signet ring, Catherine possesses the ultimate symbols of that historical line. She does not need a new public title to validate her authority. The historic proof is already on her finger. The final budget records for the transfer were locked into the family ledger by midday. The Treasury verified that the offshore Jersey Trust Fund was fully active under Catherine's sole name. The interest payments will continue to feed her private office budget automatically each month, entirely independent of the main household accounts. While the lawyers archived the final paperwork, the mystery of the Canadian private investigator was resolved by the police task force. The security team tracked the rental car back to a commercial parking lot near London Heathrow Airport. The investigator had already boarded a flight back to Toronto before the officers arrived. The digital log showed he did not manage to capture any close-up photos of the ring inside the Sandringham perimeter. He had been misled by the anonymous BBC leak, which was originally designed by an outside media broker to trigger a speculative bidding war for fake images. The quiet battle over the late Queen's most treasured possession has ended with a total legal victory for the future Queen. The physical items are safe inside the biometric safe at Adelaide Cottage, and the legal walls around the inheritance are completely unbreakable. But as the judge locked the white envelope back inside the High Court vault, a final document was uploaded to the Secure Palace server network. The paper was an updated administrative calendar for the year 2028. The document lists a series of major national events where the Princess of Wales is scheduled to lead the royal procession alongside King Charles. The traditional hierarchy has been permanently redrawn by the hand of the late monarch, and the transition is now an absolute reality. The true heart of the British monarchy has found its new home. Queen Elizabeth's private diaries and her historic gold coronation signet ring now belong exclusively to Catherine. This historic inheritance secures the future Queen's standing at the absolute center of the royal family. King Charles and the High Court judges have confirmed that the late monarch's final wishes are completely legally binding.